And I thought, yeah, many of us have stories to tell. And with those stories, and some of those stories will be able to help one or two people about the journey they have traveled in dealing with grief. And as we look at how you deal with the loss of a loved one, and of course that including the healing process, which it depends on the person, it depends on the people. It might take a little while, it might be longer, it might be shorter. It depends on how you deal with that grief. And this could be the loss of a partner, husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend. It could be the loss of a parent or a sibling or anybody very close to you. It's a very difficult subject, this, to deal with, because many people, and some I know that I'm very close to, still have not gotten over the fact that they have lost their loved ones. And I'm sure you've got stories as well to share with us, with some of the people that you interact with on a regular basis, who still, even today, have not recovered from the fact that they have lost their loved ones. It's a difficult subject, isn't it?
It's a very heavy subject.
Yeah.
I think coming here, when we had the brief of what was going to be spoken about today,
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
It was okay. And then as I came through, it was more of, you are going to share with the world your experience, because as much as it is what I deal with on a daily basis,
yes,
from people, I have my own story that is very dear and very close to me. And one thing that I'm not afraid to tell people in the world is, I have not healed. And as broken as I am from the loss that I've encountered, I am still able to stand strong, not for myself, but for those that we vessel for, and to continually remind them that it is through such tragedies that certain things are born of our spirit, or certain things die of our spirit. And you mentioned that the news are taken differently by different people. One of the things that you said before we went on air, you said maybe it depends on the strength of a person. And I said, I don't think it has anything to do with the strength. I just think that it has to do with where the news find you in life. How do they find you? And at that time of them happening, where are you in your space as a person? That will definitely define how you carry on. One thing that I learned, Bambo, is that when we're going through this, we cry, and there'll be people around you that will tell you not to cry, because the person you're crying for won't definitely rest in peace. And I can tell you today that is the craziest thing that people can say to you at the time where you want to deal with your pain, because you will never ever get another opportunity to grieve while the news is still fresh. This is something that will never ever be repeated. And for as long as people are telling you how to handle it, you are going to go back after the ceremony or after the funeral and wish that you could have done, or you could have handled it differently. Because after that, you'll truly realize that when they have gone, they're really gone. It matters not who says they won't rest in peace, because they've rested in peace anyway.
That's right. Today's Relationship Tuesday with our relationship coach, Mamanisa Matula. We're talking about how to deal with the loss of a loved one, including the healing process. Let's talk about how does losing a loved one affects one's life.
You know, Bambo, this. I'm speaking right now
Yeah.
to people that have lost partners,
Yeah.
people who have lost husbands or wives, where you find that the society will be condemning them and bashing on them and saying how they killed their partners and how they should handle themselves. I always have an issue with the fact that a woman will be told to sit on the mattress. I want people to understand. I said I have an issue with being told that you must sit on the mattress. There you are, covered with a whole lot of blankets. You don't do anything except for sitting on this mattress because you are showing respect to your partner. And when the cops arrives on Friday, you are expected to still be seated. For some reason, some people are going to come in, bringing in the cops for you as though you are being brought a visitor. I have a problem because death walked into your bedroom. You understand better the person who has died. You understand better that you have lost the us and you have to find the I that you were never prepared for. Death has taken the person whom, when you were frustrated, you would call and let them know first. The one person whom, when the chips were down, would be encouraging you. Here you are, the society telling you what to do and what not to do. On top of it all, here are uncles that you have probably never seen in your life telling you that we are going to the morgue, we are going to wash the corpse. Why don't I get to do that? Because I'm not ashamed of my late husband's nakedness, because it is part of giving me closure. I've realized this when I went with my sister to go bath our late brother, that there is no peace that will find you as that peace that you find when they are there, naked, dead, empty, cold, with you in one room, no noise and nobody, just you and them, and realizing that this is it. There's nothing else. This is it. They are finished. Whatever that was of life that they used to speak is gone. This person is no more. Those are the things that you have to go through. People should allow you to go through that. Why must you be told how to do it when your partner, a piece of you, is no longer around? Why are these things being pressured and imposed on you when maybe you and your partner had an agreement of what it is that you would like to see happen? Hence, I always encourage people, have these conversations. Because one thing that I know, Bambo, this idea of dressing in black when a person has died was something that was done many, many years ago by Queen Elizabeth, whom was observing her own grief, and people saw it and they took from it. I always tell people that when people died in the olden ages, we used to stay in rondables. There was not enough space. That is why it had to be done on the floor, on the mattress, and everything else taken out because there was not enough space. But today, why am I taking out my bed and putting it down, allowing everybody to sit on it when it was my private space with my husband? Why? Can't I just grieve how I want to, how I feel, so that I am allowed to just be me? Because death has taken away a part of me, something that I was building my together with, my future, my forever with, and on. This is even deeper than losing a child.
All right. Do send us your voice notes, and I see there are a couple of those on 060-584-2250. Hanging out with Mamadi Sabatula, who is our relationship coach. And by the way, tonight on Relationship Tuesday, we're looking at how to deal with the loss of a loved one, including the healing process. And very shortly, she will be touching on the healing process. And this could be a partner, a parent, a sibling, and a friend, anybody very close to you. How do you pick up the pieces and start a new journey without that particular person in your life? And this brings me to the next question, Mommy, and that is the healing process for somebody who's lost their loved ones out there. Where do they start with this journey of healing? Are there steps to be taken? What is one supposed to do?
It is definitely not necessarily steps, but just a guideline. Because we take it in how and where we are at in our lives. And one thing that I can tell people is we always told how time heals. Time does not heal. It does not heal at all. There's no such thing. The only thing that time does is it gives you the platform of acknowledging and accepting and getting used to the absence of the one that you love. But it heals nothing. And when we're speaking of healing, we're talking about something that is very deep. I always tell people that for me, healing is a decision that we take every day in terms of accepting what has happened and what is, allowing ourselves to move on even in the pain that we are feeling. So these are just guidelines that are going to allow you and help you make sense of what seems senseless. This is just going to help you take away some of the questions, because we have a lot of questions when one is shocked after losing their loved ones. We're going through a certain cycle that nobody is able to even say to you is normal, because at that particular time, what is normal is not normal, because you've just lost whether your mom, whether your brother, whether your partner. So you need to firstly allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. Don't suppress anything. Allow yourself to go through the emotions. You know, losing a loved one is so traumatic, and coping with it is a personal experience. That is why I don't want people to tell you how to do it, because it is your personal journey. You need to go through it, and you need to feel it, so that it eventually comes to a point when you look at it, you no longer feel as hurting and painful as the day you heard the news.
How about those who still find it very difficult to accept the fact that they have lost their loved ones? Would you recommend that they seek professional help? Would you recommend that they speak to people like you?
I would always recommend that speak to anybody. Speak to whoever that you feel that is of support. This is the only time in our lives where we are really gunning out to say we need support. Gather support, talk about it, share with friends what you're going through, and find that one person who won't judge you. Because one thing that I've realized is through my journey of grieving the loss of my brother, I disengaged on a lot of things and a lot of people, only on the basis that if it did not happen to you, you don't understand. And it's very easy for you to say what has happened is not a new thing.
So disengaging would mean then you spoke less to a lot of people.
I did. I spoke less to a lot of people. I posted less on my social network, to a point where some people were even calling to say...
So who did your life revolve around at the time?
At the time, my life revolved around my inner family. That was my husband, my daughter, church, God. That was who I had. And my siblings, because one of the things that we learned through the process was #we are all we have. And that was exactly what I needed. It does not mean that when you take time off, when you disengage, it doesn't mean that you are completely letting go and giving in the fight. Somebody said to me yesterday, when we had this conversation of why have you been so quiet around October, November, December last year, and I said it is because I needed to gather myself and find myself again and cry myself without worrying about anything else as a vessel. And he said to me, imagine if Jesus had done the same, how many people could have died? I then looked at them and I said, that is very selfish of you, because number one, I'm not Jesus. As much as he came in the form of a human, I cannot compare myself to him in the sense of the spiritual energy and powers that he had. But I know very well that I need to be in touch with my emotions, and I need to refuel so that I cannot give from an empty cup. The minute you start giving from an empty cup, you are no longer in a right space. You need to give from your saucer. So I needed to go back to my potter so that my potter can put certain things back again into perspective, so that I can see the light that I needed to see. I needed to feel what I was feeling, because Bambo, on my brother's funeral, I emceed his funeral, and I will never tell you what I said, because at that time I had numbed the pain. The agreement that we had as siblings was, we must never show our mother how we are feeling, because showing her how we are feeling is going to break her. And we did exactly that. At that time, I was thinking about my mom, our siblings, our secret code, how we wanted to be of support to my mother. And I had done that. I was thankful to God for that. It was time for me to go back and recharge so that I can be able to be seated here today and talk about this without tears in my eyes. Though the heart can tell that this is very close to my heart and home, there's no tears. And that for me says the decision to accept what was and what is truly my process of healing. And this is it.
All right, let's take a break and come back with some more, as well as some of your voice notes right here on Relationship Tuesday. Good evening.